Alright, fine people of the internet. So, topic that's been going around, Tom Brady is an unrestricted free agent. He's old, he's finally done as far as possibility in New England. So, a lot of people's been talking about this. I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of what I think is going to end up happening here. So, Tom Brady is now 42 years old, came into the league in 2000. We all know the story, 6th round draft pick, 199 to New England. Everybody always talks about people that went before him, but now he's in a position to where he can choose to where he wants to go. Okay, he doesn't have to stay with New England. He can move on to a different situation, big, small, whatever he wants to do, he has that power. Now, in New England in the past, he's just taken a lower contract, stayed with the team just because it was comfortable to him. That's what he wanted to do. Now, and at this stage in his career, he's only got a couple years left. He wants to get paid. He's taken these discounts his whole life. He wants to get paid. Can't really blame him on that. So, couple situations to where he can go. Now, the obvious one is the Patriots. He can just decide to stay. Maybe they can find a way to get him a bigger contract, get some pieces around him. But it's not going to be as easy compared to some of the other options that he could go to. The Patriots aren't necessarily in a position to where they're at a strong standpoint to go get younger pieces or more skilled pieces. They already tried that with AB. AB's a psycho, so you see how that worked out. So I'm going to kind of rank these as far as my options that I think are likely or could happen. So obviously, we already talked about the Patriots. Now, to me, my number one place that I think would make sense for him and I think he should strongly consider, and if I had to put money down on anywhere but the Patriots, I'd put money on the now Las Vegas Raiders. So, the Raiders are looking to give him a major contract. This came out, I don't even know, 2 days ago now, that they're willing to offer, I think it was $60 million for 2 years. I'm not sure what the guaranteed would be on that, but they're willing to give him what it takes. Now the Raiders, I talked about this a while back, how the Chargers desperately needed Tom Brady. Moving into a bigger stadium, different city, you need to get fans, you need to get the attention. Same thing with the Raiders, except the Raiders don't have as big as a problem as the Chargers. So, Raiders Stadium, it's being built, nicknamed the Death Star, so can't get much bigger than that. Now, a lot of things that people talk about when it comes to Brady is his wife, Giselle. She's not going to want to live in a small market city. This would solve that problem. Vegas, one of the biggest cities in the world. There's a lot to do there. There's a lot with her fashion and whatever, her modeling. I don't even know what she does. But anyway, so that would be a possible option for him. And what they would offer him other than the contract would be a lot of young talent pieces. They went out, got Josh Jacobs, got some defensive pieces. They got a lot of good young talent. And they're picking 12. They can add Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb, one of those guys. He can have a dynamic young receiver. And that would take them a far way as far as making the playoffs, possibly making a push. I don't necessarily think the Raiders are one of these teams that's going to go super far, but you can't deny. Alright, so if you notice, there's a random cut there. A bunch of idiots I go to school with decided they were going to walk in on me. So, where I was leaving off with the Raiders, like I said, a lot of young pieces. They're in a position to get a good receiver in the draft. It's a deep receiving core this year. Get him the talent that he wants and needs. Like I said, it's indoors, new stadium, big city, big money. Seems like the perfect fit. That's why it's my number one spot as far as if he wanted to leave the Patriots. Now, as far as the Patriots and what they offer, they're going to offer the familiarity that he's had for years. Josh McDaniels has been his comfort zone. Bill Belichick, same thing. Everybody talks about this debate, who's better or who's more responsible for the success with Belichick or Brady. If he wants success, that can continue, but he's kind of wanting to prove himself to a certain group of the country who believes that it's Belichick. So that's one thing there. Now the Chargers have been brought up as an option for Brady. I don't know necessarily how big of an option this is. Obviously, they moved on from Phillip Rivers, which I wasn't surprised. But the Chargers aren't necessarily a place that's going to be that attractive for him. It's not a place that has incredible talent. They got some solid pieces, but it's nothing that would make him want to leave a comfortable situation like he's got right now in New England. So I don't necessarily think it's completely out of the picture, but I don't know why he would leave to go to the Chargers. It doesn't necessarily make complete sense to me, but I think it is an option for him. But yeah, so now let's talk about the Titans. Titans are a team that's kind of sneaky in this whole thing. They need a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill, this whole playoff push has been solid, but there's a lot of examples you can talk to and point out that he couldn't make the throws. They relied on Derrick Henry. This is one place that I could see necessarily being a small market city. Now, I know if you're from Tennessee, you're flipping out on me saying we're not small market. Just listen. Tennessee, I've been there by the way, so don't even. Tennessee is not necessarily a Vegas. It's not necessarily a New York. It's not a market like that. And by the way, I know New England's not that big of a market anyway, so don't even, whatever. But so, Titans, like I said, playoff team this year, made a deep run, shocked the world with who they've beaten. Beat the Ravens, who I thought were pretty big frauds to begin with. But so they could be in a position where you go out and you get Tom Brady, fill that hole. You got a solid guy who can make the throws that you're going to need him to make, whereas Ryan Tannehill, you couldn't necessarily depend on that. So that would be an interesting place. I don't know how the cap would work there, but I do think it'd be interesting. Now, the 49ers, this is probably the most, not attractive, but it's one of the most interesting places that he could possibly go. The 49ers have Jimmy Garoppolo right now. Jimmy Garoppolo traded from the Patriots, mostly because Brady didn't like the competition. That's just how it goes. But now the 49ers blew the Super Bowl, okay? Tom Brady grew up his whole life being a 49ers fan. Not his whole life, but when he grew up watching football, he was a 49ers fan. So it would make sense from the standpoint of, you look at history, right? Tom Brady is an elite quarterback. He's becoming a free agent. He's getting up there in age. Look back at some of the other quarterbacks who are older, elite, coming towards the end of their career. I look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning went from the Colts to the Broncos. The Broncos had an elite defense, solid offense, not great, but solid, and they rode their defense to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady can do the same thing here for the team he grew up loving, and he doesn't have to necessarily do as much, and they do have a lot of younger pieces that he could use. They got a lot of depth at running back. They got some solid receivers. They added Deebo Samuel. In the draft, that was a great find. He wasn't necessarily top of the list for a lot of people, but I could see that as a place that he would like to go, just as far as what he could get out of it, because I don't think he's necessarily looking for the next 4 years. I think he's looking 1 to 2 years to get as far as possible, hopefully win another Super Bowl, and that way he can say he did it without Belichick. So, like I said, these are some of the options. Now, this season, he finished 15th in yards with 4,057, 24 touchdowns, which is tied at 13th, so it's kind of middle of the pack. 8 interceptions, 18, QBR 53.7, that was 5th. Tom has been looked at as a dink and dunk kind of quarterback. His stats from last year, what you can look at with those numbers is saying he's kind of middle of the road, just like I said. Now, he was middle of the road without a lot of talent, not a lot of pieces around him. He had some, but it wasn't nearly what it could have been. So you look at that and you think, what could he do in a different system, different location, a fresh new start? And that's what people are going to be looking at as far as this offseason with him. Like I said, if it's not the Patriots, I think it's going to be the Raiders. Also look at the Titans as a potential team. to sneak in there and grab him. So that's my thoughts on this whole situation. Thanks for watching. Tell me your thoughts. Where do you think he's gonna go? Am I an idiot? Yes or no? See you in the next video.